All right, let's talk about a rule for success that is so counterintuitive, it goes against pretty much everything you've ever been taught. It's a law that explains why just being talented isn't always enough, and why getting this is absolutely crucial if you want to play the game of power and actually win.
Have you ever wondered this? Seriously, you see someone who is just off the charts talented. They work harder than anyone else, but they just keep hitting this invisible wall. It's incredibly frustrating to watch and even more frustrating to experience. And the answer isn't that they lack talent. In fact, their talent might just be the problem.
You know, we've all been sold this idea our entire lives, right? From our parents, our teachers, this myth that if you just put your head down, work hard, and show everyone how brilliant you are, you will naturally, inevitably rise to the top. But in the real world, well, the game of power is a whole lot more complicated than that. That's because there's this unspoken rule that's always in play. It's a fundamental law that secretly governs pretty much every hierarchy. And if you break this rule, even by accident, you can completely sabotage your own career and turn people who should be your allies into your worst enemies. And here it is. This is Robert Greene's first law of power. It sounds pretty simple, but it is so deep. The core idea is that people in charge need to feel secure. They need to feel like the master. And your brilliance, if you show it off too much, doesn't always make them admire you. A lot of the time, it just triggers their deepest, ugliest insecurities.
And look, this isn't some newfangled corporate idea. This is timeless human nature we're talking about. This quote from Balthazar Gracian centuries ago just nails it. People at the top, whether they're a king or a manager in a corner office, have built their whole identity on feeling superior. And if you challenge that, even accidentally, you're playing with fire. You want to see this law in action in the most brutal way possible? Let's talk about Nicolas Fouquet. He was the finance minister for the famous Sun King of France, Louis XIV. To get on the king's good side, Fouquet threw the most incredible, lavish party anyone had ever seen. He was trying to show off his taste, his wealth, his power, but it backfired spectacularly. The king wasn't impressed. He was furious. He felt outshone. The very next day, Fouquet was arrested, and he spent the rest of his life rotting in prison. One fatal mistake.
So what is actually going on here? To really get this law, you have to understand the psychology behind it. It all comes down to the deep-seated insecurities that can drive people, especially people in power.
Okay, so let's get inside the head of a boss who feels threatened. First, their ego is wrapped up in their job title. When you shine too bright, you're not just doing a good job, you're attacking their very identity. Second, your obvious skill sparks a primal fear that you're coming for their job. But here's the real kicker, the Peter principle. A lot of people get promoted right to the level where they're not actually competent anymore. They might not admit it, but deep down they know it, and your talent is a terrifying mirror showing them their own limits. And that's when it gets personal. That's when envy and resentment kick in, and suddenly you've got a target on your back.
Okay, I know what you're probably thinking right now. This sounds awful. It sounds cynical, manipulative. Is the only way to get ahead really to hide how good you are and play all these political games? And that's a really fair question. We have to challenge this idea before we just blindly accept it. I mean, seriously, if you're not putting your best work out there, doesn't that hurt the team? Doesn't it hurt the company? And doesn't it ultimately hurt you? If everybody's constantly downplaying what they can do, how does anything great ever get accomplished? This is where a more modern, scientific look at things really helps. See, Robert Greene's whole worldview is basically that everyone is in a constant, ruthless battle for power. But you know what? Behavioral science paints a very different picture. Research actually shows that we humans have a powerful evolutionary instinct to cooperate. That cutthroat desire for control Greene talks about, it's often not a core driver. It's a symptom of deep insecurity. And think about it. In a healthy, high-functioning team, the whole dynamic is different. A win for one person is a win for everybody. A truly great leader doesn't want a team of yes-men. They want a team of superstars who make them look amazing. In that kind of place, hiding your talent doesn't protect you at all. It just holds everyone back. In fact, the science suggests that the kind of personality that's truly hungry for power just for its own sake, what psychologists call the dark triad traits, well, they make up a pretty small slice of the population, maybe around 7%. Now, here's the problem. That small percentage is often ruthlessly drawn to positions of power. So while most bosses might be great, you have to be ready for the ones who aren't. So what's the answer here? Is the law a cynical trap? Or is it a vital survival guide? Well, the truth is, it's kind of both. The real key isn't to just blindly follow the rule. It's to transform it into a tool of emotional intelligence.
It's about being strategically brilliant.
This right here, this is the most important thing to get. This is not about being mediocre. It's not about giving up on excellence. It's about being smart. It's about knowing when to turn your light up to full blast and when to just dim it down a little bit so someone else can be in the spotlight. It's all about perception and timing.
So how do you actually do this? Okay, here's the playbook. Step 1, actively find ways to make your boss look smarter. Let them have the spotlight. Step 2, when you get a big win, give them the credit. Publicly. Say it was their guidance that made it happen. Step 3, this totally reframes you. You're no longer a rival, you're a trusted ally, their secret weapon. And step 4, keep delivering incredible results, but do it quietly, be subtle. Let the work speak for itself and frame it as a win for the whole team, which of course, they lead.
And here is the beautiful paradox of it all. When you help your boss succeed, when their star rises because of your subtle work behind the scenes, you become the one person they absolutely cannot afford to lose. They'll protect you, they'll promote you, they'll bring you with them wherever they go because your success is now tied to theirs. You're not a threat anymore. You're their greatest asset.
At the end of the day, that's the real lesson here. Checkers is a simple game of jumping over the other guy. It's direct, it's obvious. Chess is a game of strategy, of sacrifice, of thinking 5 moves ahead. Amateurs play checkers. They go for the flashy move. Masters of the game, they play chess.
So I'll leave you with that question. Are you playing checkers, or are you learning to play chess? Are you focused on the short-term thrill of showing off, or are you playing the long game for real, lasting success? The choice is yours.